X factors may not be the most important thing to worry about when selecting cards or doing team builds. I'm going to get into that in this video here, guys. There is a lot of information, at least enough information about HUT that we can start gearing up and getting ready with our plans on how we're going to build a Hockey Ultimate team, or at least what we think we should do and the cards we should take. The pre-order deluxe edition lets you start the game on the 5th, and it gives you 2 packs. One that gives you choices like Sergei Fedorov, and another one that gives you choices like Zdeno Chara. But with these choices, people have been wondering, who would be the best one to take? Is Chara the best one to take? Is it going to be Tkachuk, Pronger? Is Fedorov going to be the one to take? Is it going to be Lundqvist or Thornton? There is a couple of things that we know as of right now that would make me lean to think this is where you can really make an important decision when it comes to building your team. Over on Best Buy, sorry, they don't have a dark mode, but over on Best Buy, they've got HUT Season introduces a new dynamic mode with revamped team building mechanics. This is something that we've been talking about now for a couple of weeks since Best Buy dropped this information, and it leaves us wondering on the team building mechanic itself. And then you'll also notice here we have HUT information on the Fedorov card that shows us Anaheim, Canada, US, Anaheim, Canada, and Sweden, and then it's showing us that you get boosts to your overall if you hit these combinations. So why I'm saying that is important is when we look at these X factors, like we look at Elite Edges, has 3 tiers of X factors for Elite Edges, Specialist, All-Star, and Elite. These are going to boost your player in those in particular attributes, right? But what is more important? Picking a card based on the fact that he has Elite Edges, or getting a player that is going to help you activate maybe a combination of lineups that make you get more AP. Would you rather have Elite Edges on your team and pick a player with that Elite Edges X Factor? Or would you rather have a couple of players that activate AP to get you 3 or 4 X Factor abilities? That's what we're going to talk about here, guys. And I'm going to talk about the way I think this should be approached. Now, mind you, this is all up in the air. We do need to consider the fact that we don't know what these cards are built like. But what is more important? The build of the player or individual XP? This is the boosts that we're going to get to overall salary and AP. AP boost giving you the ability to put more X factors on your squad. And then, how those boosts are going to be activated is going to come off lineup combinations. Chemistries can be made in any order. Each card can only count towards 1 card type. So what that means is, I'm assuming that when you're looking at Sergei Fedorov, for instance, where he has a Russian card, a Detroit Red Wings card, and an icon logo, when you look here, he unfortunately doesn't hit any of the targets. So would that change your opinion on building Sergei Fedorov? Because if I can get 3 Canadian players, I get a +2 overall to all of those 3 players. I don't think it's going to change my opinion on taking Sergei Fedorov, and I'm going to explain why, and I hope you guys in the comment section give your information on it as well. So yes, I could go build Chris Pronger. He's a massive player. He's huge in HUT. Huge, literally, figuratively, and he's a massive impact card. 86 overall Chris Pronger right out of the gate is going to be ridiculous. And he's going to help with, for at least this example here, defense getting a +2 overall between Pronger and a Nashville defenseman. But I don't think that's something that I really want to focus on the Canadian side of things anyway. And the reason I'm saying that is because it is a lot easier to get Canadian players and American players through packs than I think it will be to get good Russian players like Sergei Fedorov. And then that also brings us to Zdeno Chara. Maybe Boston and Slovakia aren't in this combination, but maybe at launch they are a combination. Now you could take Naslund, Tkachuk, Roenick, or Hemsky. Hemsky would be another one that's a viable option because, like I said, Czech, I think, is going to be harder to get out of packs than Sweden, Canada, and the United States, right? I think these 3 nations are going to be in a lot of packs you open. So taking Rob Blake, although you might be a fan of Rob Blake and he's fun, if you are looking to do the lineup combinations to boost yourself up in overall salary cap or AP. Along the top there, you'll see that. AP, if that's something you're chasing where you want to activate as many X factors as physically possible, you might be more inclined to go check the combinations for AP and pick your cards based on that. Something that we'll have more detail on the 5th, and I can't wait for that, so we can really start, line matching up and building the perfect squads to get our overall boost or our salary boost or our AP boost. We're going to have to figure out what's more of an impact. But as I think about what cards I can have in my collection and what cards I'm going to be holding and what cards are going to be harder to come by, I'm thinking that when it comes to the Hemsky check card, that might be a better card to hold, as Hemsky is a nationality that maybe won't be easy to get a high amount of good cards for, right? When you think of Canada, like I was saying, you can pull a lot of players that are Canadian throughout packs that will be decent, and you can get into those chemistry slots. And same with the States, right? Like if you may not pull a Pappy, but if you pull a Dylan Larkin, you are laughing. So I'm maybe focused more on the nationality in selection packs, where I'm going to be trying to get players like Hemsky or like Chara. Those are going to be the ones that I'm going to be thinking about, because those are free cards to my collection that I can utilize in the combination of nationality and teams. Same with when it comes to Fedorov. Maybe I don't go Thornton. Maybe I don't go Pronger. Maybe I don't go Chris Chelios or Teemu Selanne. You know what? Teemu Selanne is probably going to be a really good card. I'm not going to lie. There is a very high number of Finnish players that you can get in packs, and you probably will. But at the same time, Selanne is usually a very fast player. And if there is a combination that they throw at us where you have a Teemu Selanne and you get a +2 overall for having 3 Finnish players, or, mind you, if you have an American player, a Duck, which Teemu Selanne is a Duck in this card, right? In the very middle, it shows him as a Duck. So you could get Teemu Selanne as a Duck. You could grab Jeremy Roenick if you wanted. I wouldn't suggest this. I would try to do different combinations. And then you could hope to get a Canadian out of a pack. Now, I just want to bring that up because, like I said, if you get Teemu Selanne, Jeremy Roenick, and a Canadian in any pack or a starter pack, you now have +2 overall, where your Jeremy Roenick is now an 86 overall, and your Teemu Selanne is now an 89 overall. Very powerful stuff at the start of year when you think about having a Teemu Selanne that you have made a right lineup combination with. Now, that's just overall. This is where the decisions are going to have to be made. This is where they're going to have to come into play. Are you concerned more with getting ankle breaker elite edges and quick draw on Jeremy Roenick, or are you more concerned with getting the overall boost? That's what I want to know, guys. So leave that in the comment section down below. I just wanted to have this quick conversation with you guys about the lineup versus X factors, and I'm very curious at what you guys think is the most important thing to you. Do you want to focus on the X factor in a hockey card build, or are you going to be focusing on the nationality or the teams to try to help you absolutely crush whatever this lineup combination generator thing is? Because clearly, chemistries can be made in any order. So what that's saying is, where you have America, the Ducks, and Canada, you don't need them in those positions, right? Selanne can be a Duck on the wing. Roenick can be an American in center. You don't need them in any certain position. But they can only be used, one card can only have one thing being used. So if you use Teemu Selanne's Duck, you're not using Teemu Selanne's Finnish if it was America, Duck, and Finnish player, if that makes sense. This generates a lot of conversation, and that's what I love about the format that they appear to be doing, is it generates a lot of conversation. It generates a lot of different options, where if you don't take Teemu Selanne, maybe you get another Finnish player and you pair him up with Pronger on the back end, and that boosts both of those guys up, right? So we're going to have to look at how this combination works. I'm excited to dive into this and get as much information as I can. So if you guys want as much information as you can get on these lineup combinations and how to build the best God squads, That's right, the new version of the best God Squads where you maximize on the combinations. I'm going to try to get everything out to you as fast as possible so you can benefit off of these overall boosts. Or the AP boost, depending on what style of player you are. God, this is going to be so much fun. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. Till next time, ciao, ciao.